So there's a lot of buzz in the stock community and the YouTube financial community right now about whether or not the market is going to continue on this rally, or if this is just hitting resistance and then we're going back down and continuing the downtrend. Well, I'm here to show you why it actually doesn't matter and how you can make money in both situations no matter what happens. So previously in the previous couple of videos of mine, we talked about how unless the market really does something terrible and we never see all-time highs again, which would be anywhere past 478.90, unless that happens, our trade eventually is going to make a ton of money, and that's off of TQQQ. So we're going to get into that, and then just briefly, and then after that, we're going to do some technical analysis on some of the big guys. We're going to look at Nvidia, Apple, Meta, because our setup has actually been very accurate with these big stocks, and we actually have a really good setup here, so we're going to go through it. And you notice something a little funny right here on the Trendillo. I actually have it set to logarithmic. Reason why I like that is because it shows just very strongly whether or not you're in an up or a lower bullish or bearish, I guess I should say, as far as the oscillator. And it's very simple with this setup. So what you do is, if you are below this HI market bias indicator and you have the yellow line above the blue moving average, the yellow moving average above the blue moving average, and you are red or at least under the zero line on the Trendillo, you go short. It's very simple. And the opposite for when you go for a signal of when to go long, right? We still have the MACD up here as well. Let me bring that up real quick. And it's the same as far as the moving averages, right? So the MACD line, which is the blue line, and then the signal line, which is the yellow line. So we're going to collapse that. So we're going to take a look at TQQQ real quick. And we talked about how if this did nothing lower and it just went back to previous highs and you bought in today, it's going to be a little bit different than what it was yesterday, right? But 123.84%. If you were to buy now, not scale in your position, nothing, it goes lower or straight up, or goes lower and then up, like doesn't matter, whatever situation, as long as you get back to previous all-time highs, it's 123.84%, right? And we also talked about how it would be great actually if it went down back to these lows, because that would be, what was it, 460%? Yeah, about 460, 470%. And so I would just be scaling into my positions if this went down. So market goes up, great. I'm already in TQQQ and I made a bunch of money, a bunch of percentages, right? That's really what you want to go on with trading. If it goes lower, I'm scaling in, great. I'm now going to make more money, right? So that you can do the same thing with Apple, Meta, Nvidia, all of those guys. There is one of those bunches which I am a little nervous about as far as using that strategy, and we'll get into that in just a second. But let's go to previous highs. Now, the disadvantage you have here is that it's not leveraged, right? The TQQQ is a triple leverage ETF of QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, okay? So 9%, which would be great to get back to previous highs. You can't complain about that. If it comes down, you can scale in, right? Let's just draw a drawing here. Came down, did whatever. It doesn't matter what the path is. You're buying here, you're buying here, you're buying all the way, and then you have even more than 9% going back up. But let's get rid of that drawing, and let's just do it from a technical analysis standpoint of, is this a buy or not? My bad. Let me get rid of that one more time. Go back to that. So we're going to bring up the MACD cross, which is just something I whipped up real quick on TradingView. It reflects the MACD, And anytime the MACD line, which is the blue line here, let me blow this up for you. Anytime that line crosses the 0 line, it is an indication that momentum has changed and you are now, if it's going down, in a bearish sentiment. If the blue line is above the 0 line, it is an indication that you are in a bull trend, and you can see that they generally stay up there for a little while and generally stay down here for a little while, right? They'll peak a little bit, right? It's important to note that it will do that, but generally, by and large, like let's get rid of that. This crossed and you had a pretty good rip, right? And the longer you go out, go to the weekly, the more it's going to stay above there, over or below it at a certain amount of time, okay? So going back to the daily, let's take a look at what we have and let's go down the checklist, okay? So the checklist, first of all, is the first thing I always look at is the market bias indicator, okay? Because that is showing overall trend and direction. That is my directional moving average, okay? After that, and it's green, okay? So now we're looking to see if everything else indicates also bullish, because that is what it is doing in this case. We can see as of today, we crossed above the 0 line on the MACD, because that right here just shows me that down here. There's no difference. They're pretty much the same thing. So that is also bullish. Now we're going to get rid of that because we don't need to see that anymore. And we are looking for the blue moving average to be crossed above the yellow moving average. And it indeed is, right? Now, this can come back down immediately, but as of right now, that is 3 for 3 on Apple, okay? As far as being bullish. So the reason why that is important to note is because you will see these cross slightly. Let's hide that for a second. There we go. Just get rid of that for a second. You will see that it does do it a little bit at times, but it's important to know that if it crosses back over, then you're getting out of your bullish position. It's a false signal and you can get out of it, and you can actually start to go short if the other indicators are showing you to do so, okay? So that is 3 for 3. Now let's take a look at the MACD, which we already kind of did, but you want to analyze it again from a little bit different standpoint. And we're going to do this a little bit faster once we get to Nvidia and Meta, and we're also going to end with Bitcoin here. You see, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. You see a trend that you want to pay attention to, and that is an upward trend. Now, if you notice, we are going to, let me thicken that for you so you can really see that, because this is important. That's not the right part. There we go. Okay, see how that is going up. Anything going up in indicators is generally bullish, okay? So that is interesting, right? Because we are below the 0 line, which is suggesting that it's still still bearish, excuse me. But this right here, this trend line, is suggesting that it's bearish, or I'm sorry, bullish. Now you can kind of see pretty much flat all the way across. So you almost kind of have like this squeeze, right? So what's happening is you're getting resistance about the same spot. You have another resistance right here. And so a lot of times what can happen is this actually can be a bullish, or I'm sorry, bearish sentiment overall, because this is squeezing, and what that's showing is that although the buyers are pushing more and more and more and more, it's still being sold at the same exact spot. Anyways, there is a bullish case for it, so we're going to get rid of these lines here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And one more. Okay, so now what you do notice, though, however, is you have the price action going down directionally. It is going down while the MACD is going in the upward direction. Okay, so that is what is called a bullish divergence. That is very bullish as far as technical analysis standpoint, right? So you're getting some mixed signals on this this MACD, but really what the MACD is showing is this right here. See how I'm going to draw this line here. See, you have almost like a double top at this point. Now, keep in mind that this is lower. Here, let me go back to the drawing. This is a low. This is a lower low, and this is a lower low compared to that one. But these are even right here. So what that is showing is that the price action had to actually work harder. It had to work harder to get back to the same spot, which it generally shows that buyers are still stepping in. Okay, so that overall, whoops, go back to this here. That overall is showing, again, still a continuation of a bullish trend, right? It just, so far, this looks like we blasted through this this HA market price indicator, which is a moving average. Blasted through it. Everyone was super excited, because while maybe not everyone's playing the market price indicator, people are playing the 200 moving average, the 100-day moving average, what have you, right? It all is showing very, very similar things. And then we got overbought. And then people like me, I was on this channel saying we're too overbought. I'm not going to buy right now. It will revert to the mean. And that is what we saw, right? So Apple overall so far has been bullish. Now we have the Trendillo. Now I can just get rid of the logarithmic for a second here, just to show you how it is naturally. Again, above the zero line is an uptrend. Below the zero line is a downtrend. Just the same as the MACD. It's a little bit redundant as the MACD, which is why I actually do like to use it in the logarithmic form. So we're going to bring that up, okay? So right now, it is very simple. We are above the zero line, okay? And we are so far holding it. A lot of times what you'll see is this little peak and trough and come back down. You can see it the opposite way right here, right? And you can go back even over here, right? So because we're below that market bias indicator, you're more likely to get that. Let me say that again. When you are below the market bias indicator, you are more likely to get that. When you are below it, you're more likely to get this on the downside, right? More likely to get the red on the downside when you're below it. So where are we right now? We are above it. Okay, so what does that mean? We are more likely to continue this uptrend than we are to go back down. Now, keep in mind that has been the case right here, right? We were more likely, because we were above the market bias indicator, we were more likely to have longer uptrend on the Trendillo and a shorter downtrend, but we did not get that. So that could indicate a change in momentum, and that this right here is a fake, a dead cat bounce, and then we're going to head back lower. Now, a lot of this can all determine on where we are with a recession. Are people going to get scared about a recession? How scared are they going to get? Is it going to be a soft landing? Is inflation really actually under control? A lot of that is going to determine this, okay? So you can trade stocks in a vacuum on just indicators, because the indicators a lot of times are in reaction to macroeconomic trends. So keep that in mind. This is yet to be determined. It is merely telling us what is currently going on and what is likely to occur. The status quo continues. So Apple overall, we have a downtrend. So I'm not going to say necessarily get into it yet, except under the same point of My strategy with TQQQ is inevitably it's going to come back up and you can DCA. This is a blue chip. It's pretty safe that Apple's going to come back up to higher highs eventually. But again, keep in mind that this is not TQQQ. You cannot take advantage of the triple leverage. So I particularly wouldn't do that strategy here unless you're just long-term holding, your dollar cost averaging, which is a good strategy, and going in. You're not necessarily trading. Okay. So I would not necessarily buy into that right now for this or for that reason. And because it is still doing, where is that? There it is. Up right at the top, the trend line. It is still doing that, right? We are, until this breaks, this is still the trend channel. So let's go on to Nvidia. Now, Nvidia is basically the same thing. I drew this up quite a bit a while ago, actually. I don't know when I drew it up, but so far it's been working pretty well. We have what you kind of have is a double top right here, a head and shoulders, which is showing that we are likely to continue to go back down, and we're probably going to meet this HA market price indicator somewhere. It's, the price action is going to come down as the market bias indicator moves up, and you could very well see it around this trend line, which is about 413, 412. Let's go to Meta real quick. Now, what's really interesting is, Google, Meta, Apple, Facebook, Nvidia, I think there's 7 total, are holding up the stock market pretty much by itself. And those are really the only ones. I don't say the only ones that are having a profit, but if you were to take them out, overall, the stock market actually is in the negative right now. Take that for what you will. But I want to bring up Meta because the market bias indicator could not predict this more accurately. And it's just amazing. So I highly suggest you using the HA market price indicator. It's free on TradingView. If anything, just use it on Meta. It's pretty amazing. I mean, you can go back to see when it predicted that crash, actually just before it, right? Now, this does repaint a little bit, so take that for what you will. But look at where it is red right here, right before that terrible earnings report. That was when everyone was worried that Meta was going to go broke on the metaverse. And then we got a buy signal right over here. So where are we right now? Well, it's pretty much the same thing as Apple, but we don't have this downtrend like we have with Apple, right? We are decently above the market bias indicator. So one thing you can do is you can bring up the MACD cross, or just pay attention to when your MACD crosses. And right now, if you zoom in, notice what we have as of a couple of days ago, which is right after earnings. We had a buy signal on the MACD. So this is a buy signal on Meta. Now, again, you have to pay attention to macroeconomic trends and things can change, right? But right now it is a buy signal. We are above on the Trendillo. We are above the 0 line. All right. So let's finish up with the Bitcoin. Let's see where we are there. Now, Bitcoin, go over, and we're going to get rid of these, is obviously a lot more volatile. It is crypto. It's always important to pay attention. Let me bring up it is on logarithmic. Okay. Pay attention to how your indicators react on each different ticker, but definitely each different like security, right? Like Bitcoin versus the stock market. So there's not a lot, if you were to zoom out, there's not a ton of opportunity to DCA on the weekly. So I was just zooming out there. We're going to go to the DCA part because, at least as far as the market bias indicator, because the market bias indicator has been green pretty much the entire time, and I don't blame it because Bitcoin has pretty much been in a uptrend the entire time. Now, that begs the question, because we have a red market bias indicator right here, is this a great buying opportunity in that it's actually severely overvalued? And because you're getting diminishing returns on Bitcoin, because as more money is invested into it, you're going to get higher volume and you're going to get diminishing returns as it grows, right? So is it because of that, or is this a really huge buying opportunity, or is this a something that is anyone that's in crypto is never going to see higher highs again? Who knows? Is it this big arc? Is it going to flatline? Overall, I don't think crypto is going anywhere, especially Bitcoin. Bitcoin is considered a blue chip. There's just so much investment in it. The next bull cycle, the last bull cycle, we got very close to, just getting closer to institutional adoption. Kevin O'Leary's been huge on it. And the next time that this goes, next time Bitcoin takes off and a lot of cryptos take off, a lot of Wall Street and a lot of big institutions are just going to be licking their chops at it, because it's a whole new sandbox for them. And there's a lot more opportunity than there is sometimes in a lot of the stock market. So we can go back down to the daily real quick, and let's bring back auto again. And let's see where the MACD cross is. So MACD cross is green, right? And to show you, right, this right here at, where did that close? Closed at 28,863, and it is currently 35,414. So this right here was a buy signal according to our setup, right? You had this is perfect setup. You had all the indications and you were up pretty big. So that just kind of shows you the true power of this setup. If you want to continue seeing this setup, do me a favor. The easiest way to help out the channel is just hit the like button. It takes you like 1 second and it tremendously helps out with the algorithm. So please do that. If you want to see more content, then just hit the subscription bell, turn on notifications so you can see all my latest content. We'll be back with more probably tomorrow, if not soon. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks.